Welcome back to another episode of Curling to the Tee with Trevor. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the Denver Mile High Bonspiel of 2023. I'm going to also talk about some things that I've been working on, some things that I've learned, and about some people that I've met. Let's get started. During the 2023 Winter League, I decided there were some things that I wanted to work on, specific techniques, and there were some goals that I wanted to set. The first one was I wanted to be able to slide and sweep the stone, be able to get that rating, be able to relay it to our skip, and be able to take that gripper off and be able to slide back and forth on the ice, be able to sweep. And that was pretty tough, but it was a good goal to have. The other goal that I had was I had previously talked about being married to the stopwatch in previous episodes and how I was kicking myself for that for the regional tournament that we had this last winter. So I decided to keep my stopwatch in my pocket, and I would actually start the time and stop the time for the short times as a throw would be thrown. And then I wouldn't even look at the watch. I would just keep it in my pocket. And then if I did need to look at the time, I would pull it out and take a look. It was amazing to be able to do this because then I had more confidence in the stone and I was able to read it better. Also during the winter of 2023, the men's and women's national championship took place over in Denver, Colorado. And I was thrilled about this because I have a number of friends over in the Denver area who either helped with ice setup, they volunteered for the events, or they competed in the events. So it was really fun to watch the streams and be able to cheer them on. I really wish that I could have gone. During the events, Tyler George was commentating, and as he was commentating one of the games, I was able to ask him a question, and he was able to answer my question. Here it is.
A question from Trevor Dersh.
Want to try here? Back line.
Utah, asking about how things are going as an ambassador for the sport.
407.
And do I miss actively playing? Well, second part first, I really don't miss the game action as much. I miss the time on the road, the camaraderie, things like that, and the major competitions, Worlds, Olympics, those things never get old. But
okay, try to go back 12.
all the grunt work you have to do, all the work you have to put
here.
in to get to that point, I don't miss all that stuff. 25 years of playing.
Yep, top four.
Pretty content where I'm at.
Keep going.
I get the
Keep going,
fulfillment
keep going.
off the ice
Good. Keep going.
with the ambassador work and the broadcasting
Curl
gigs,
it.
things like that
Nope,
that I used
nope,
to get from
nope, nope,
competing.
Keep going.
Being
Keep
able
going.
to
Keep going.
do good things
Okay,
for the
this is
sport,
good.
see it grow the way it has, and travel the country and
Look at this right here.
see how it's being embraced by people all across the country the same way that we've done it in places that are curling hotbeds for our entire lives. It's really an amazing thing, and I really enjoy what I'm doing. So.
I love having these kind of experiences. They totally make my day. John Schuster's team ended up winning the men's national championship. And after they had done so, I sent Matt Hamilton a message and I said, congratulations, Matt. You did a great job out there and you looked like you were having fun. And he responded and he's like, yeah, thanks, Trev. And I told Matt, I said, I'm currently playing second in my league right now. And my wife told me, you're like the Matt Hamilton of your team. And I told her, well, he's a great curler to follow. And I shared this with Matt, and Matt responded and said, I think you could be the Matt Hamilton of your team. Just be sure to enjoy some curling league often, and you got it. So anyway, that was really fun, and I wanted to share that with you. One of the teams that competed at Nationals was Darryl Sobering's team. And it was really fun because as I went to the Mile High this year, it was neat being able to actually meet him in person. I ended up chatting with his brother during some of their games during Nationals, and it was fun being able to have a conversation there. But as I met Darryl, it was also nice being able to see some familiar faces, such as Josh Chetwynd, and I was also able to meet some other players on his team. I had met Tim from a previous year, who was one of the ice technicians in Denver, and then also Chris, who was another player who played on Darryl's team. And turns out, small world, he used to live in Idaho Falls and used to work at a government site that a lot of Idahoans are familiar with. So it was kind of nice to be able to make that connection. And then also see some of my other Denver friends as well. What was really neat was as Nationals was coming up, I remember seeing and stumbling upon one of the videos that Darryl had sent some of his team on some of the training that they were doing preparing for Nationals. And so that kind of inspired me to get a balance board and, start working on my balance and just, really train my legs and strengthen them there. So that was something that I did. During the Bonspiel, I was able to pick up some more techniques and learn some more things. And it's always exciting because as I learn these things and observe other better curlers, then I can take that and apply it to my own curling to try to improve. One of my friends, Elliot Manzel, taught me about the deep clean sweep, which I saw some other players doing. And he informed me that it can help prevent any picks over just a normal clean sweep. And the other thing too is that as you do a deep clean sweep, it can help prevent the stone from grinding down too quickly to a stop. And so it can help give your stone a smoother ride as it's traveling down the ice. This was something that I picked up and learned, and I was able to apply it in the Winter League. As I met Darryl Sobering, it was definitely a humbling and neat experience to be able to ask him about his experiences at Nationals. It was neat being able to hear about the positive things that his team had done and also some things that his team needed to work on. One thing that caught me by surprise was he talked about stopwatch, and he said that there were some games and some moments where there was too much looking at the stopwatch and not really getting a good feel for the stone, which was really surprising, and that is another reason why I wanted to work on that so much. Another thing, too, is as I talked to Josh Chetwynd at the Denver Mile High, he also talked to me about some of the follies that can happen with a stopwatch, such as everybody's delivery is not the same. So a stopwatch can't give you a truly accurate reading of how fast the stone is going because maybe somebody slides faster, somebody comes out slower, maybe they extend it, maybe they give it a push, a pop, and then your short times as far as the stopwatch goes gets all thrown off. And so that's why it's not good to get married to the stopwatch and to just kind of get a general feel of how things go. Another thing that I've heard from one of Jamie Sinclair's videos is that if you can get your team to have a similar delivery, then maybe it can help a little bit more with that stopwatch reading if you need to get that time. But since not everybody's delivery is the same, it's going to be a little off. At this Bonspiel, we had Ken, Brandon, and myself, and then we picked up a fourth player who played as our lead. That was Jen Jacobsen, who also lives in Colorado. It was fun getting to know her and Gary, and also seeing their sweet little dog. Jen was able to share some photos with us and show us how she met John Landsteiner and got to hold his gold medal. And I'm always excited to be able to hear about these experiences of different curlers. In this episode, I'd like to congratulate Darryl Sobering and Josh Chetwynd and their team for winning the Mile High. It was exciting to be able to watch them and to cheer them on and to see their success. I just have to say, this was the third time that I've been to Denver for the Denver Mile High, and I have loved it again. I highly recommend it for anybody who is wanting to give it a try. It's in a gorgeous area, and the organizers and those who help put on this Bonspiel do a fantastic, exceptional job. It is something that I highly recommend, and I look forward to attending it again in the future. One other thing that I wanted to share with you is I also bought a Denver curling patch that I was able to get put on my jacket too, to remember my experiences and to show anybody who is curious about the Denver area and how much I've loved learning more and getting better at curling because of my experiences there. That sums up this episode. The Hive Bonspiel also took place right after the Denver Mile High in April, and our team didn't quite make it to the finals. We ended up getting eliminated in the semifinals. However, I did compete in the Glow Spiel again with Chris Chipman, who was my partner from last year, and we ended up winning it again. And so we've got our second patch for the Glow Spiel, which was super exciting. So I've got that put on my jacket too. Thank you for tuning in to this episode, and I look forward to doing more in the future and sharing more experiences and learnings with you. We'll see you then.